Up Paleo, where we talk all things nutrition straight up. I'm one of your hosts, Christina Rice. I'm a holistic health coach, nutritional therapy practitioner in training, and the creator of the Paleo Women Lifestyle Program. You can find me on my website and blog, ChristinaRiceWellness.com, as well as on my other podcast, Wellness Realness.
And I'm your other host, Kara Halderman. I'm a nutritional therapy practitioner from Dallas, Texas, NLP master practitioner and mindset coach, and creator of careaboutit.com. In this podcast, we'll be discussing all things paleo, health, and nutrition, along with answering questions straight from you.
If you'd like to submit a question for us to answer on the podcast, head to straightuppaleo.com or email us at straightuppaleo@gmail.com.
Remember our disclaimer. Materials in this podcast are only to be used as advice and are not to be used in place of general medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment.
If you want to support the show, make sure to hit that subscribe button and leave a rating and a review on iTunes. Enjoy the show!
Hey, Christina. Happy Thursday.
Hey, happy Thursday. Even though it's not Thursday. We're recording this on a Saturday.
So weird.
Yeah, so weird. We usually record during the week, but we're trying to squeeze a few in because we both have a crazy few months coming up.
Jesus. It's legit. It's going to be absolutely insane, and it's flying by super quick. Before we get into that, I wanted to ask you how your birthday went.
Oh my gosh, it was so fun. I ate all of the things. It was amazing.
Where'd you guys go?
Oh God. On my actual birthday, Friday, I woke up, I recipe tested and made myself a nice breakfast with my recipe testing coming soon. And then lunch went to Erewhon, obviously. And then dinner, we went to Devin Sisson's house in Malibu. If you haven't, well, I'm assuming most people who are listening to this have not been to Mark Sisson's house in Malibu. His crib is so legit. It should be on Cribs. I wish that show was back on. That show was so good.
That show.
It was so good. But the house is beautiful, and Devin, my friend Devin, is such an incredible cook. So Devin made my dream meal ever. It was okay. She made this thing. She had sent me a picture of it before because she goes, "What do you want?" And I go, "So my favorite vegetables are cauliflower, eggplant, and Brussels sprouts. So anything with those." And she's like, "All right." So basically she did this thing with rolled up grilled eggplant stuffed with cauliflower rice and pesto, and then this marinara sauce drizzled over, and then she put cauliflower truffle cheese on top. So good.
Oh my God.
And then she made this big thing of roasted Brussels and roasted sweet potato with this tahini mustard sauce. It was amazing. And then she made me this crazy good cacao coconut cookie skillet. This was unlike any cookie skillet I've ever had. And then her homemade coconut milk ice cream. And it was just amazing. So I was in foodie heaven. I was in a food coma. Yeah, that was amazing. And then the next day went to Bulletproof with my friend Kaylee. She was staying with me that weekend. We got acupuncture and cupping and massages. We went to Erewhon again. We picked up some cookies from Crosby Taylor. We went on some walks. And then for dinner we went downtown to Wild Living Foods. And after that went to Kippy's for dinner.
Yum. Sounds like a typical Christina day.
Yeah, it was pretty legit. I had a lot of fun.
Wait,
but
can I comment on one of those things? So
yeah.
I looked at your meal from Bulletproof Cafe, and I was like, why is that the smallest meal I've ever seen in my life?
So for anyone who hasn't been to Bulletproof,
tiny.
This is why I never go to Bulletproof, because every time you go to Bulletproof, you have to go somewhere else immediately after to finish your meal because the portions there are so small. It's like snack size food. So it's really frustrating because it's super expensive because it's high quality, but it's not enough food for anyone normal. It's like a snack. So typically the chain of events is go to Bulletproof and then immediately go to Erewhon to finish the meal.
Oh my God. I just looked at that and I was like, I am hungry looking at that meal, but it still looked freaking good. If I was down there, I would go to Bulletproof Cafe.
I wish that the portions were bigger, but they also just put erythritol on everything. It's so annoying, but that's Bulletproof for you.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
Yeah, it was really, really good, but I feel like my brain's been all over the place just with like so much traveling, and then like I got back from Dallas and then immediately it was birthday weekend stuff, and then I'm trying to catch up and then leaving again next week or like the week after. Life. I don't know. Yeah. So very, very behind, and we'll both be in Austin at the end of the month.
Oh, I forgot about that. I totally
How could you forget about that?
I don't know. I'm like so in the present moment, like focusing on what I'm doing today and tomorrow. I'm just forgetting everything.
Are you doing anything fun?
Right now?
Today and tomorrow.
Oh, well, today, every Saturday and or Sunday, I go and eat dinner with my dad and my stepmom. And that's like fun to me. I don't know why. It's just fun to me because they're my people and they understand me. So I love hanging out with them. They're like my friends. And then Sunday here in McKinney, if you Texas people know where that is, in the historic downtown center, there's this big art and wine walk festival type thing. And I'm like, cool, I'm going to go to that and have fun. So that's kind of it. I'm just focusing on what's happening right now because I feel like there's so much coming up in the future. And I have this tendency, sorry guys, I have this tendency to focus on everything that's coming up and then not focus on what's happening right now. And I'm just anticipating all these trips. And then once I'm on the trip, I'm like not fully present. And then I wish that I could do it all over again kind of thing. So I'm just really working on staying present in what's going on right now instead of anticipating all these trips. And apparently I'm just forgetting stuff by staying present.
That's good because I feel like my brain is so cluttered because I'm trying to prep ahead of time.
Life, literally. Okay, but I am behind because I am going to Hawaii in May for this, like, you guys, my throat is having severe issues. Whenever I eat, this is random, whenever I eat coconut, I think I have an actual intolerance to coconut, but whenever I eat it, I get, like, phlegm in my throat and I can't stop freaking coughing. So
what did you have with coconut?
I just had a couple spoonfuls of coconut butter.
Oh.
And it creates this like scratchiness in my throat. And this has always happened to me for years and I don't understand it. But anyways, so I'm going to Hawaii in May for this. I honestly don't even know what to call it. It's like a mindset retreat kind of thing. But you're not allowed to know what's going to happen. You kind of just pay for the trip and like buy a ticket and go. And you don't know what happens. So, I mean, there's no point in anticipating what's going to happen because I don't even know. But I'm underprepared. I have no summer clothes. I don't have a bathing suit. I have nothing.
I don't either.
I don't own any of that.
Are you allowed to use a phone?
I don't know.
While you're there?
I don't know.
Are you going to be completely off the grid?
I don't know, but I kind of hope so. Like, a part of me kind of hopes that we're off the grid, but hopefully we'll have Wi-Fi or something.
That's intense. That'll be really fun, though. That'll be really good for you. I want to retreat. After NTA in June, I promised myself I'm going off the grid, going on a Christina retreat, because I am just, I need it.
You should, 100%. Just go somewhere. I don't even know where that would be, where you can't use your phone or your computer or anything.
I want to go to my cabin. Because it's so isolated and no one can get to me and there's no cell phone service and it's really nice.
You should, 100%.
Hopefully I can do that because the next few weeks are going to be crazy. That I feel like until I have every single week literally booked until middle of June.
Yep, you need a break.
That's very stressful. Yeah. So it'll be good though because even though I'm traveling, I do much better traveling now that I have gotten my sleep under control. Hey. Because that was honestly a big reason why traveling used to be so hard for me, and it's getting easier. Traveling a lot is rough for me just because I'm such a homebody. But I don't come back always feeling like a piece of death because I still sleep really well when I'm away, thanks to the one and only Somnifix. I am obsessed with this stuff. If you guys have not tried mouth taping yet, please do yourself a favor and just try it out. One box. It's amazing. And I'm really excited because I don't know, Kara, if you've gotten a new package yet, but they fixed the packaging, so it's way easier to open.
I noticed that. I didn't know if like they changed it or whatever, but it's so much easier to open. I didn't even care. I struggled to open it because I needed it so much for the packaging.
I used to cut it. Yeah, I used to just cut it with scissors.
But now, so much easier
to
tear, and I usually do it in the dark. Like, I turn my lights off, and then I try to, like, somehow maneuver it open. It was so difficult and hard, but they're the real MVP for fixing that packaging.
So the Somnifix mouth tape is awesome because it's specially designed for mouth taping at night. So you put this on your mouth before you go to sleep, closes your mouth, keeps it shut, and there is a little air vent in the front so you can breathe a little bit. So don't get nervous if you're a first timer. You can breathe a little bit. It's also hypoallergenic, doesn't hurt when you put it on or take it off. So you're all good there. And there are a lot of different benefits to keeping your mouth closed while you sleep. We actually should be keeping our mouths closed. It keeps us in that parasympathetic rest and digest state. Makes it so that you don't snore because your mouth is open. You don't drool. Also helps with immunity because when your mouth is hanging wide open, all those bugs get in there.
Little spiders.
Yeah, sorry if we scared you about the spiders last time, but I mean, just got to keep it real. And I mean, having a good night's sleep is so important. Like we said this so many times before, but people still don't understand this. Waking up in the middle of the night is not normal. You should be able to sleep throughout the whole night. You shouldn't be waking up. So if you're waking up in the middle of the night, like, you got to get to the root of that because you might not even realize how big of an impact that's having on your next day, on your energy, your performance, your memory, all of the things. So really important to get that sleep in check.
Yeah. I'm basically obsessed with it. And one thing that it's actually really helped me with that I noticed over the long term, I don't even know how long we've been mouth taping for now. Like
a while,
like at least a couple months or more than that. But over the long term, I actually noticed that I don't clench my jaw as much when I'm sleeping. Mm-hmm. That used to be a huge issue for me. And I still wake up sometimes like with pain in my face. I know a lot of people deal with that and like their face feels swollen or they have pain in their jaw when they wake up, and that's usually because you're clenching. And I've noticed recently that that's happening a lot less, and I really do think it's because of the stress response, like the way that the Somnifix to help you be in a more relaxed state. So if you have like jaw clenching issues, maybe over the long term it could help you out. I don't know if that's true, but it's helped me, and it's been a miracle, honestly. I used to wake up with super swollen jaw because of it, and it was really annoying. But I love it, and you can use our code SUPSLEEP for 10% off of some Somnifix. You can buy it on Amazon, so while you're shopping around, just pick up yourself some Somnifix, and you will freaking love it, yo.
Yes, it is amazing, game changer, and love seeing you guys try it out. So
can I just tell you something that's been interrupting my sleep, though?
What?
So I hate TV. Like, I don't watch TV. But my coworker recommended the show Peaky Blinders to me. I'm just throwing it out there to anyone who's on Netflix and you're like, what do I watch next? This show has completely corrupted my life.
My God.
I never go to sleep past, like, 11 o'clock. Like, that's just so unlike me. And I've been staying up till midnight, like 1 a.m. And I can't help it. I've been watching the show. It's called Peaky Blinders. You'll probably look at it and not want to watch it. Like, you'll just look at it and be like, this looks dumb. I'm not going to watch it. Just do yourself a favor. Turn the subtitles on. Get through the first episode and you'll be absolutely addicted. It's about like this family who's in the mob, basically. They are the mob of Birmingham. Do you know where Birmingham is? Am I just dumb?
I mean, I've never been there. I've heard of it. I haven't been to Europe, though.
No, that's what I was wondering. I was like, is this in England?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? I've never been to England.
I think so.
Wait, I want to add it to my Netflix queue But I don't know if I can get past the accents.
Well, I couldn't. I got through about 30 minutes. They're about hour-long episodes, which is even better because I love long episodes. And I got through the first 30 minutes not knowing what was happening at all because they have super thick English and Irish accents. And I was like, F this. I'm turning the subtitles on. And then once I turned the subtitles on and I could see what they were saying, it was like, see? You're playing it.
Yeah.
You playing it. It's addictive. It is.
I was trying to add it to my queue. We'll see how. I haven't been on Netflix in so long because I just feel like it's gotten so bad.
It really has. It's gotten terrible, but this show is a freaking gem. It's so good.
Okay, maybe I'll try it. I'm almost done with what's it called? Desperate Housewives. Like, I feel like I can't do anything until I finish it. Like, it's all I think about. It's all I want to do. I feel like I plan my whole day around it. It's all I'm looking forward to all day is watching Desperate Housewives.
Have you watched it before?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
I've never seen it.
You haven't?
No.
Well, see, I watched it, like, live. Like, I watched it every Sunday night when it came out, every new episode. Like, I started watching it when I was in, like, first grade.
Oh,
so, like,
God.
Grew up with it. Like, but so much of it I forgot. It does not. There's so much crazy shit happens in that there's just like, no matter how many times you watch it, you pick up on new things. Like, it's crazy.
Those shows are the best.
Yeah, you should really look into it.
Okay, I will. I still can't even get through Gossip Girl. I'm trying so hard. But it's so good. I'm addicted to Gossip Girl and Peaky Blinders right now. And it's kind of just sucking my life. And I'm ready for it to be over so I can have my sleep back, honestly. But whatever. I'm enjoying it. But, okay, one other thing that I'm really enjoying is the other night I whipped up Kelly, our intern. She has this recipe for paleo barbecue sauce. And I was just browsing, like, her blog and all her recipes. I was like, barbecue sauce. And I had a bunch left over, so I made a barbecue pizza with the Cali'Flour Foods pizza crust. Yum. OMG, you guys. It was
What else did you put on it?
Good. For some reason, whenever I make pizzas, I never have a plan. Like, it's always just random stuff left over in my fridge that I just pile onto the crust. So it was the Cali'Flour Foods pizza crust. I didn't use the flatbread one. They have like a flatbread one and then their original one. So I used the original one. And then I had leftover salami in my fridge. I thought that was going to be disgusting. It was actually amazing. So,
no, it's not. It's like pepperoni.
Yeah, it was amazing with barbecue sauce, mushrooms, caramelized onion, and a little bit of nutritional yeast. Amazing.
Yum.
Yeah.
That sounds so good. I swear, like, I don't know why I love mushrooms on pizza so much.
It's so good. Do you put them on raw and then you bake it, or do you pre-cook them and then put them on?
I put them on raw, but I know you're a pre-cooker. I bet you're a pre-cooker.
Oh, yeah. I'm a total
You like to shrink them down. I hate shrinking my mushrooms down, so.
We've had this debate.
Yeah, we've had this debate, so it's all up to you. But that sounds seriously amazing. If you guys haven't tried their pizza crust, it is so good and so easy. Like, literally takes 15 minutes total and you have a pizza.
Fastest pizza ever.
And all you have to do, you don't have to defrost it. You just take it out of the freezer, preheat it for a few minutes, put your toppings on, finish up heating it, and it's done. And it's not like regular pizza where you feel like so horrible after.
You can eat the whole thing.
Yeah, eat the whole thing and you won't feel bad or gross. Like, it doesn't hurt your stomach. It's so good. And it tastes like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like pizza, but it reminds me of like focaccia bread, kind of. Yeah. Like the flavor.
It tastes like, yeah, it's seasoned. Like the crust is seasoned. It has herbs and spices and stuff in it. So it tastes like a flavorful bread. But then you put stuff on top of it. It's just basically magic. And you can pick it up, which is even better.
Yeah, it actually holds up.
Yeah.
And minimal work, delicious, healthy pizza crust. There's a whole head of cauliflower in one of those crusts. That's such a good way to sneak veggies into your diet. If you have kids or a boyfriend who doesn't like vegetables or a husband or someone, just don't even say anything. Just make them a pizza. Have them eat it. They won't even know that there's a whole head of cauliflower in there.
Nope.
That's amazing. Cauliflower is the ultimate chameleon vegetable, I swear.
Cauliflower is I saw oh man, I
It
saw
can
the
do no
funniest
wrong.
meme about cauliflower, the Easter egg meme that
Oh
we
yeah,
saw.
and I'm like, I'm gonna do that. It was like so funny. I forget, it was like that chocolate Easter egg, and someone was like, "Can you make a recipe of this with cauliflower?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah, figure it out real quick.
Let me do that. I actually will. I'm very down to do that." So
But if you want to try out their pizza crust, you'll legit become an addict like us. And you can go to Cali'Flour Foods. You spell that Cali, like Cali, flour, FLOUR, foods.com. And we do have a discount code for,
yeah,
what is it?
you can use the code Straight Up Paleo, and it'll get you 10% off of an order of $50 or more. So just order a few crusts. You keep them in your freezer. You always have them in there. And you'll get that 10% off with the code Straight Up Paleo. And then you can have pizza night every single night. Have a party. It'll be amazing.
Perf.
So I highly, highly recommend. And if you guys have any really good pizza combos, let us know. Share it in our Facebook group, Straight Up Paleo Pals, so we can all collaborate. And we should have a pizza making competition.
Dude, that sounds
How epic
amazing.
would that be? So when we were in Dallas, Kara, Kelly, and I were trying to figure out how we could institute a paleo eating competition, like a food eating competition. I just want to make this so that I can win, because I will out-eat anyone in America.
It's absolutely true.
So, I mean, we got to figure out a way we can have an eating competition. Like, it has to be paleo, so I'm not like allergic to things that I'm eating, but I will win. So
if anyone's got any ideas.
If anyone's got any ideas for how we can get everybody together to have it's like, in those movies, how you would see people do pie eating competitions?
Yeah.
It's like that, but paleo version.
Just like a plate of kale or something.
It could, no, not kale. It's got to be something more. Well, so in San Diego, God, I'm forgetting now, but there's this place called Broken Yolk. It's like a breakfast spot. They have this eating competition. It's like a huge omelet, like, I'm exaggerating, I don't know, it's like 15 eggs and like all of their cheesy fries and like bacon, like a ton of bacon, and it's like you have to eat it all in an hour, and if you do, you get your name on a plate, and I think you get a shirt, like a plaque that goes up on the wall. And I was like, I would so win that easily if I didn't have to do the cheesy fry situation, because I can't do the gluten or the dairy. But if it was gluten-free and dairy-free, I'd win that.
You would 100% win that. In Texas, there's this place, I don't even know where it is, but they do like a 72-ounce steak competition. And like you say, you have to finish it in a certain amount of time or whatever, and then you get your name up on the wall and all that stuff. And I thought of you. I was like, Christina could totally eat that.
Yeah, for real.
72-ounce steak.
I guess I should share, since people think this is interesting. I don't know why, but updates on my life. So I'm this week, which will be, well, I don't know when you're going to be hearing this, so maybe it will have already happened. I'm going to do a 1-week low sulfur diet reset. I've done a 1-week low sulfur diet before, and it helped a lot. I am an anomaly. I don't want everybody listening to this to think, oh my God, I'm intolerant to sulfur. You're probably not. I'm just sensitive to it and have basically overdosed my body on it. I can just tell. I have a CBS mutation and may or may not have hydrogen sulfide SIBO. We're still unaware of this status.
Can you explain like what a low sulfur diet is?
So basically, it's a really annoying diet. I mean, you're basically eliminating like cruciferous vegetables, leafy greens, onion, garlic, all the fun vegetables. Basically. So what you can have are just like protein. Oh, and eggs you have to eliminate too. Sauerkraut, those types of things. And then there's like a long list, but what you can have are like squashes. So you have zucchini or yellow squash or spaghetti squash or acorn squash. You can have lettuce, so green lettuces, and so lettuce, not leafy greens. So no spinach, no arugula, no kale, but yes to like green lettuce. And then you can have like proteins. Mm-hmm. So pretty basic. You can have avocado too, which is good. You can also have peppers and, eggplant. So it's nightshady. You can have tomatoes. but I just need to give myself a reset for a bit because my stomach has not been doing well. So I'm trying to regroup. I finished my protocol at the end of this week, the most recent one I've been on, and that was supposed to be the last of it, but it's definitely not. So, but I don't know how to explain it, honestly, but I feel the sulfur overdose. Like I can tell. And Kara knows, like I've been telling her this, I'm like, I can tell I have too much in my body. And I remember feeling this way before. And then when it went low sulfur for a week, it really, really, really helped to reset me. Because I've just been feeling very like brain foggy and bogged down and fatiguey and inflamed. And I need to pull it together. And I can't go into the next 3 weeks of travel because like starting at the end of April, I'm going to travel for like 3 weeks straight. I can't go into that feeling like this. So I need to reset myself. So that's my little 1 week. It's just for a week. Sulfur is incredibly important, especially for detoxification in the body. So it's like being on a low sulfur diet for a long time is not a good idea.
Yeah.
So even people with sulfur intolerances, like it's like you always want to find the maximum amount you can tolerate. Well, like, you know, like you want to mitigate effects, but also find the maximum amount you can tolerate because it's not safe to just not eat sulfur. Like you need sulfur-rich foods in your diet.
Most people don't get enough sulfur-rich foods.
Yeah, most people don't get enough.
But you get a little too much.
Yeah. I'm the weirdest case ever for everything. So definitely don't try and copy me.
Yeah, so please don't jump on the low sulfur train just because you heard Christina do it. Most of us need more sulfur. Sulfur has actually been deemed like one of the most quote unquote like magical minerals in our diets because of its incredible detoxification power. I know a lot of people that just take MSM, which is a form of sulfur, and it's basically like helped them out so much because they were so deficient in sulfur that their liver could not properly detoxify. But some of us, like you said, have like a CBS type of mutation, or there are issues in the liver where you literally cannot process sulfurs correctly and you need to back off a little bit more, but that's probably not something you just want to guess.
Yeah. You don't want to guess. Or it's like if your detoxification pathways are just like not open and not working and you're eating a ton of sulfur-rich food and it's trying to detox and it can't get it out, that's building up in your body and like not feeling good. So a lot of times this isn't like a permanent situation. I don't believe for me, it's that I need to figure out the rest of my stuff, open up all my detox pathways, work on that, find my upper limits. And yeah, so I'm just doing this as a quick reset. But speaking of just not hopping on the bandwagon of things,
we got some stuff to talk about.
Yeah, we got some ish to go over, people.
Where do we even start?
Let's start with we're not gonna say any names. We're not gonna tattletale, but I'm sure you can pick up on this subtweet if you're in the Instagram.
Oh my God, I'm sorry. You said subtweet and it brought me back, man, to the Twitter days.
Oh God, let's not talk about those days. But we see a lot of photos, and we've talked about this before, but we saw a picture this morning that particularly just frustrated us because sometimes Instagram influencers post photos of things that are just meant to kind of make you hungry and make you want food, and they're not posting it with the intention of trying to show you a balanced plate. They probably don't even know what a balanced plate is, but it's giving off the impression that these, quote, meals that they eat are balanced. Like, you can't go and just copy exactly this person's bowl or this person's plate because you will not be in a good place.
Yeah, so here is like what it was, basically. So you see these bowls kind of all over Instagram now. Like, they started with a couple people, and now all of a sudden it's become this phenomenon, I guess, and everyone's doing it, but then everyone's also wondering why they don't feel good at the same time. And I think we've talked about it before, but it was basically like a bowl of granola, paleo banana bread, a huge spoonful of like peanut butter. It looked like a quarter cup of peanut butter.
Yeah.
And then like all under a huge blob of coconut yogurt.
And nuts.
Yeah, and more nuts, like on top of granola, on top of peanut butter, on top of a couple
And
slices
cacao
of,
nibs. It was
yeah.
like a quarter cup of cacao nibs. No, and it was a brownie. That
Oh, I
wasn't
thought
a
it was
piece of,
banana bread.
no, I think it was a brownie.
Either way, it's
It doesn't
basically,
matter.
it's just a big pile of nuts. Like, that's
Yeah.
what it is. And it frustrates me because that is not anywhere near balanced. And I understand that everyone is different and that actually may work for some people. I don't think it actually works for a lot of people at all, but it may work for some people. But for the majority of the population that's on Instagram and following these people and looking at their food, if they were to eat that big bowl of food, they would probably feel weighed down and like crap and bloated and not be able to poop, or opposite, it will all just like come out at once.
Yeah.
So it's not setting realistic expectations of what a balanced plate looks like. And I think she even called that a snack plate, which
Yeah.
infuriated me. Oh man, and even more, you know?
Yeah. And what I just want people to realize that like maybe these people are eating these things. If they are, it's unlikely that they feel good after eating that, but honestly, it's more than likely that that person is making that bowl for Instagram, taking a picture, maybe they have a few bites, and then they share it with someone else or they put it away. Like, you have to remember, these people are making food all day long as part of their job. They're probably not eating everything they post, and they're not thinking about it in terms of like, let me show people a balanced plate of how to eat healthy food. They're thinking, how do I make people hungry and want to make my recipes? I just want to make it look good.
Exactly. It's like, how many recipes of mine can I fit into one bowl?
Yeah.
So I can get you to my blog and so you can make it. It's not, like Christina said, it's not at all trying to be balanced or necessarily healthy. But then you see everyone recreating these things, and sure, it may taste good, but in the long run, if you eat a big bowl of nuts every single day as a snack, I'm not saying that nuts as a snack is bad. I'm talking about just like literally a giant bowl of nuts.
It's the difference between having nuts as a snack and having like 8 cups of nuts as
Yes.
a snack.
Like, would you eat a big bag of almonds for a snack, like a huge bag that you get from like Trader Joe's or something, you know? Like, would you eat that whole bag? Most of us no. And that's basically what they're doing, is eating a giant freaking bag of nuts with some sugar, and it drives me absolutely insane. This is why I have been trying to get off Instagram, because I felt like for a while those meals were even influencing my meals, because I would see it and, you know, I'm easily influenced. I'll be the first one to say it, and I'd look at it and be like, well, if they can eat so much granola, why can't I?
Yeah.
Annoying.
They're probably not eating that much granola, to be honest. So, I don't know. I just want people to understand that and just stop copying, because I can't tell you how many people come to see me and I look at their diets and I'm like, you're on the Instagram diet. Of course you have a stomach ache.
Dude, we should write a book about that.
Yeah, seriously.
Called The Instagram Diet.
Yeah, for real. So we just want to talk about that. The other thing I want to talk about is people jumping the gun in terms of, you know, changing their diet to try and get healthier. So we've had a few people in our lives come up to us and they're eating a standard American diet and they go, how do I do keto? How do I do, what's the one? Metabolic typing.
Anabolic fasting.
Oh, yeah. Anabolic fasting. How do I, like, they're just like jumping the gun. And I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. So let me just kind of tell you my story. So I absolutely love my friends. I absolutely love my coworkers. They are not as into health as I am or you are or whatever. They're more still kind of caught in like this yo-yo dieting, diet culture society. I had my friend text me one day, and she said to me, what do you think of the anabolic fasting diet? First of all, I'd never heard of that in my life. So I Googled it, and I immediately texted her back, was like, no, you're not doing that. No. And they're not like paleo or even gluten-free or anything. They're just normal people wanting to eat healthy, but they eat not healthy other times. You know, they're just normal. And then I had another friend. I went over to her house, and I saw that she was reading a keto book, a keto diet book, and she's not even halfway in. And she was like, oh yeah, I'm starting keto like tomorrow. I was like, you haven't even finished the book. You haven't even finished it. And I was like, tell me, what is keto? And she's like, it's just like no sugar. And I was like,
Oh my God.
no, you have no idea. And she couldn't even finish a Whole30. Like we tried to do a Whole30 together and she couldn't even finish that. And I'm not like hating on these people or anything. I love them. They're my friends. I'm trying to help them out. But I don't know what this issue is with people like jumping the gun and thinking that the easiest thing would be to go from standard American diet to keto or standard American diet to fasting. But whenever we mention, hey, why don't you try paleo, or why don't you try going gluten-free, or why don't you try clean eating, they're like, no, that's too restrictive.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you think paleo is restrictive?
Oh my God.
You wanted to do anabolic fasting. Like,
I know. I don't know if it's just because people don't know what all of these things mean necessarily. Like, maybe we could just talk. Okay, this is in my head, like the sequence of events. And maybe it'll be different for you, Kara, but I'm like, okay, first thing you do, we're starting from standard American diet. First thing we do is we get rid of the added sugars. Like, let's get rid of eating refined sugar all the time. Once we get a handle on that, I would say let's go gluten-free, dairy-free. Once we get a handle on that, let's go paleo. And then see how you feel. 99% of the time, that's all you're going to have to do to feel way, way better for most of the population. Now, if something else is going on, then maybe you need to try something else like keto or AIP or low FODMAP or any of these other, quote diets. I hate that term because people associate that with a fad, but to me it's not a fad. It's just like a way of eating, a diet, but whatever. So I just think that people need to stop jumping the gun and like, let's just focus on being paleo, or like even, I guess I skipped one. So it's like, let's go gluten-free, dairy-free. Then let's do a Whole30, then let's, like somewhere in there, like I would do a Whole30 before I went keto.
I would 100%. It's like, it's way less restrictive. I don't know why people think that keto is not a restrictive diet. Like when they read it, I don't understand like why they don't think it is, but to me personally, I feel like it is if you're just reading a traditional keto. But like you said, we kind of have the same sequence of events. Like I would even say just get rid of junk food. Like stop buying packaged stuff, period. Like just stop buying it and eat real food. And that would be your first step. And then maybe we can go gluten-free as the next step, then dairy-free as the next step, then just work our way into paleo, or maybe you take out like quinoa and keep rice in, like very slow, progressive steps. And I think really where all this stems back from is they're not doing this for the right reasons. Like that's all I see when my friends tell me about the next diet they want to jump in or anything like that. I know they're not doing it necessarily, like I don't want to say that, but I know they're not doing it for the purpose of like I want to be my healthiest self. They still have this goal in the back of their head of I want to lose 10 pounds. Mm-hmm. I want to fit into those jeans. I want to wear short shorts. Like I hear it all the time. And it's just, that is the underlying reason. And I think even before you address the diet piece, maybe you need to wonder, like, why are you doing this in the first place? We say that all the time, And I think that's why people are jumping the gun too much. And even people in the health space that maybe are doing paleo and then just all of a sudden without any reason, they're like, all right, I'm going super low carb now. I'm doing fasting. I'm doing keto. That is still in a way like kind of jumping the gun. And you have to ask yourself, why do I even want to do that? Mm-hmm. Like, what am I going to get out of doing this?
Yeah. Well, keto has become so associated with weight loss. Like people just think, oh, keto is weight loss. And that's not it at all. It's a side effect of it. You can gain weight in ketosis, and 100%. Also there's this whole group of people who do junk food keto. And I'm like, it's not like keto is better than paleo. Like, I'm like, okay, if I had to pick between a high carb paleo diet and junk food keto diet, I would pick a high carb paleo diet every time. Same. Personally. Like, I just believe in real foods. Like, if you're eating junk food on keto, I don't care that it's low carb and high fat. It's still junk food, you know? So, like, eating, I don't know, or even with Atkins, it's like just eating crust bars and, like, what are those cake things? Like keto cakes. And
Yeah.
I mean, that's not doing your body any good. These are processed foods. So I just think, like, trying to get to whole foods is the most important, like eliminating refined sugar. Like, that's like my friend was saying that she wanted to do keto because she felt like she's eating way too much sugar. And I go, okay, well then why don't you just eliminate sugar?
Like, you could make your life so much easier by just one little step. But that comes back to what we usually say, is that it's not sexy to do that. It's not attractive for somebody to just do one little thing. They have to be all or nothing. There has to be, like, some huge ordeal, and you have to tell everybody on Instagram that you're doing this new diet, and, like, you have to tell all your friends and get everyone involved. And, like, there's a certain aspect of attention, I feel like, that people want when they're doing a diet, or they want reassurance, and they feel like they have to make this big ordeal, and it has to be this huge thing, and you have to take a million steps at once and cut everything because it needs to be glamorous. But in reality, if we could just shift our mindset and make one little change and be consistent with it, you would most likely get the results that you're looking for. And that's what I hate. Like, I am just so mad at the diet culture and magazines and whatnot for making eating a glamorous thing.
Yeah. Or lack thereof.
Yeah, more like lack thereof. And that's why, like, we do this freaking podcast, because it's irritating the crap out of me.
Oh, yeah. Also, it's like 98% of people using the term keto in popular culture aren't even talking about real keto. Like, they don't even know what they're saying. They're like, I'm keto. I'm like, no, you're not. Just because you are eating low carb doesn't mean you're in ketosis.
No.
Sorry.
It's another fad word.
Yeah.
It's become a fad word. The other thing that I see, even in terms of, like, you don't even have to change the way you eat at all, like the actual foods that you eat. The biggest thing that I actually see is improving your eating times. Like, I interact with, normal people, like, on a day-to-day basis that aren't into health, and my friends, they don't eat. Like, they basically are intermittent fasting, and they don't even know it. Like, and their first meal is at 3 p.m., but then they don't eat again till 9 or 10 p.m., or they're just snacking like on little things constantly throughout the day, but then they want to jump into keto, or they want to jump into paleo or something like that. And I'm like, why don't you just do 3 meals a day of whatever you want to eat? Just like 3 solid meals, and I bet you would even feel better then. So those are the biggest things I see, is people just not eating consistently, and then people not taking the appropriate steps.
Yeah. Okay. I'm glad you brought that up, because I've been wanting to rant about this and haven't found the opening. But this is something that really I struggle with when I'm around my family, because this is how they eat. They think I'm a weirdo because I wake up. It's so funny, because every time I'm with them, like, we'll have breakfast, and I sit down with my big breakfast, and they all look at me and they're like, are you really going to eat all that for breakfast? And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to eat a breakfast. You guys can. They eat, like, just a little something for breakfast, or they skip breakfast, right? And then they have a late lunch. So they're basically either just, like, trying to fast through and have really late lunch, or they just, like, snack on something. Or they, for breakfast, have, like, they're like, I'll just have something light, and they have like a slice of cake, a slice of banana bread. I'm like, okay, I can't with you, right? Whatever. So they do that, and then they have this late lunch, and then they wait 2 hours, and they start having appetizers at 4 p.m. And they have appetizers from 4 to 7, and then dinner is from, like, 7 p.m. to midnight. And they're literally they're just eating constantly from 4 to midnight, basically. And it's like, I'm like, why do I need an appetizer to dinner? Why can't I just have dinner? They're like, well, we're hungry. I'm like, well, maybe you wouldn't be hungry if you had breakfast, and then you had lunch, and then you just had regular dinner. Like,
have you ever asked them why they don't want to eat breakfast?
Because they say they're not hungry.
Okay.
The classic. I
was going to say classic.
I mean, it's all the classic stuff, and it's when it's your family. I mean, I deal with my family differently than I deal with other people. I just have to let them do their thing. For me, trying to preach to them to live a certain way is just going to cause more family drama. So I don't input. I don't give my input unless I'm asked specifically, because my family life is very complicated. So not worth the drama there. But it's definitely frustrating. And then they get mad at me because I don't want to eat. You know, they're like, let's have an appetizer. And their appetizer is 12 pieces of sushi. And I'm like, that could be dinner. You know, like, why would I eat 12 pieces of sushi when I'm going to have a steak in an hour for dinner? You know, like, because at that point, it's like they're not eating out of hunger. They're just eating out of habit.
Yeah, that's it. It's out of habit. Has that always been a thing, like, in your family, even with grandparents or anything like that? Or has that just started with your parents?
Oh, no, that's how my family's always been.
Do you think it's a cultural thing? Like, what are you again? Like, aren't you European?
I mean, yeah. It's not like I mean, like, I'm a total mutt. Like, I'm Irish, Scottish, English, French, German.
Okay.
I'm all over. It's not like that. It's just like, I mean, this is pretty, like, I mean, a lot of my friends' families are the same way. Like, it's just like an American thing for people. Like, they just start eating all the time. Yeah. Eating all the time and just, like, not thinking about it. And they're like, oh, I'll just have a little snack. And their little snack is, you know, a few cookies. And I'm like, I would much rather you have a huge meal of whole, healthy food than have, like, a cookie. Like, you know, they don't get the difference.
No, I completely agree. Can we actually, there's a question that somebody asked, kind of relying on these same lines. Do you mind if I go ahead and read it out?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so while we're in it, Jody asked, she said, hello, I've heard from multiple sources that snacking is not beneficial, especially because our ancestors wouldn't have grazed all day. But is there more information behind why it isn't a good idea to snack? I have well-rounded meals with veggies, proteins, fats, but I still have cravings, especially at night. I'm trying to gain weight, so I don't want to cut down on my intake. If applicable, I was reading out our own question.
Yeah.
LOL. She said I have candida, SIBO, chronic migraines, and she's working with an FMD. She is on the autoimmune protocol diet as well. But basically, this is just talking about snacking and, like, is snacking good? Is snacking bad?
I love this question.
Go ahead. Take it away.
Okay, so this is something I feel super strongly about, mostly because, well, first of all, because it made such a big difference in my life, specifically with my digestion. And I see it make a huge impact in other people's lives as well, because so many of my clients struggle with digestive issues. So if you struggle with digestive issues, pay extra attention. But just for everybody, we need to pay attention to this. So basically, this has to do with something called the migrating motor complex, which basically is like pushes food and bacteria through our digestive tract. And the migrating motor complex actually doesn't start for like an hour and a half or so after you start eating. So you have to give yourself time for your body to start the migrating motor complex. And it doesn't start for I think it's like an hour and a half to 2 hours after you stop eating. And then it itself takes about an hour and 45 minutes to 2 hours to go through all the different steps. So if you're not giving yourself that 4 to 6 hours in between meals, I say shoot for 5 hours. The migrating motor complex can't carry out its full function. And then basically things get clogged up in there. So all of the food isn't pushed through, all the bacteria isn't pushed through. Bacteria can get stuck and start fermenting, and this can cause more digestive issues, more bloating, can lead to constipation, things like that. So that's physiologically why it's so important to leave a few hours in between your meals and not snack. That being said, if you're starving, eat food. The point is that your meal should be big enough so you're not hungry for another 5 hours or so. If you're hungry before that, then that gives you information and is telling you, okay, I should eat a bigger meal beforehand. I should eat more protein, more fat to satiate me. But just think about it. If you keep putting more and more food in, and it's just like, imagine your food going through your digestive tract. So say you eat something and it's going through, and then an hour later you eat something else and it's going through. It's all just kind of getting like clogged up. You know, you're never giving it a break to be able to really push through, make those waves through your whole digestive system and push everything out and complete the process.
Exactly.
So you don't want things getting clogged up. So that's my explanation. And I mean, yeah.
Well, it's even more intricate than that. Like,
it's way more intricate, but
it's even more intricate, which is kind of creepy, but like it actually takes protein, especially if you're eating very protein-rich meals. Like if you're eating a protein-rich breakfast and a protein-rich lunch, it actually takes anywhere from 1.5 hours up to 4 hours for protein to leave the stomach. Like not even get into the intestines. It takes a couple hours for protein to even leave the stomach because your stomach is so busy churning and producing acid so it can break the protein down. That's basically the job of the stomach. The stomach's job is to break down protein, essentially. That's why it's so acidic. So if you are eating a meal and then 2 hours later, and it's really rich in protein, like say you eat like eggs, bacon, a little side salad, whatever, that protein's still sitting in your stomach at hour 2, and then 2 hours in, you're like, I'm going to have a banana with some almond butter. So then you put the banana on top and your stomach's busy trying to still process all the protein, and then you add in carbohydrates and your stomach's like, wait, what's going on here? Do I need to make more like acid? Like it gets confused, and then it starts to push that food through to the small intestine, whether or not it's digested, because you've now put more food in. So the stomach is like, all right, I'm going to release and go to the small intestine, because I have to now digest this banana or whatever you just ate. So that protein may not be digested by hour 2 fully, and then that's going to your small intestine, and then there could be issues there with like fermentation and whatnot. And so just by snacking, you're kind of disrupting your whole digestive flow. Like Christina was saying, but it's actually super intricate. Like we have so many processes of our digestion. And I know for me, I'm by nature kind of a snacky person, and I've had to really train myself to not be a snacky person, because I noticed that when I'm eating meals and then I eat something in between, it is instant bloat. Like instant, and my blood sugar goes absolutely nuts. That's the other thing, is if you have blood sugar issues, focusing on 3 meals, breakfast, lunch, dinner, no snacking, is super beneficial, because once I have a snack, it's, oh God, like all hell breaks loose, man. Like my sugar cravings are nuts. I'll just keep snacking throughout the day, eating chocolate, like whatever I can, kombucha, whatever I can get my hands on, because you've already set your body into a blood sugar roller coaster.
The exception to that, though, might be if you have severe hypoglycemia issues. Like in that situation, it might be better to have like solid snacks every few hours until you get that under control, like some protein-rich snacks every time. But that's like an anomaly. So
I agree.
In terms of the general population, but I mean, this is a big cause of SIBO, and why, like when we talk about how SIBO relapses for so many people, it's really common for people to relapse from SIBO. This is a big factor into it. So, people focus a lot on the food itself, but it's not just about the food. It's also about the way we eat. There's so much more that goes into it. And this is a big thing that I think could really improve everybody's digestion and blood sugar regulation, is if we just stick to like 3 to 4 big solid meals and let our bodies have those, quote, mini fasts. People talk about the benefits of fasting. Allow your body a little mini fast in between meals, like instead of trying to, here's another instance of people just jumping the gun. They're like, I'm going to start fasting. I'm going to start intermittent fasting. Or I'm going to do a 3-day fast. Why don't you just try giving your body 5 hours of fasting in between your meals? Like that seems a bit more realistic, and that can just give you, like, I mean, obviously I don't have the exact same effects, but it's in the same ballpark of like benefits of, it's just the idea of giving your body a break, And I think a lot of this is emotional, because a lot of people, a lot of people snack not because they're hungry, but just out of habit, just because they're bored.
I snack out of stress.
Yeah.
Personally, when I'm really stressed out, like, I just feel munchy. Like, that's what I call it. Like, I just want to reach for something, like something to settle me and make me feel better. But in the long run, like, I end up feeling worse and more anxious, and I just want to keep reaching for more snacky stuff. So there's a huge emotional component to snacking as well.
Yeah, exactly. So, but again, I don't want to scare you to like freak you out. Like, I'm not allowed to snack. Like, if you ate a meal and it's been 3.5 hours and you're starving, eat. Like, we're not promoting not eating if you're hungry. The idea is like adjust your meal so that you're not hungry. Like, make your meals bigger so that you can last at least 4 hours in between your meals. So that is like the general recommendation. So I think that's a really good question. And this is something I feel very passionately about, and something I obviously get in fights with my family about because they don't understand that concept. So
no, nobody seems
not
to
at all
understand that concept. I think on the flip side, though, like there are people that come from this like restrictive type mindset, and they're like, well, if I'm not allowed to snack, like you said, though, if you're hungry in between your meals, like, you should eat. But there are those people that will hear what we say and they'll be like, I'm supposed to have 3 meals a day. I cannot eat until dinner. Like, I am hungry. Like, but they're just trying to make it through to dinner. And I think there's also just a mindset component around this as well. I think you need to allow yourself and be like, it's okay if I need to have a snack. Like, snacking is not the end of the freaking world. And if you do it a couple times, it's not going to completely like screw up digestion forever. It's no big deal. Like, remember that you're learning, and you're learning to adjust your portions to what you need. So if you need to snack one day because you realized you ate too small of a lunch or breakfast, it's not a big deal. Like, there's a huge mindset component. So allow yourself to be okay with snacking. And then, because I feel like if you say like, oh, I can never snack, all you're going to want to do is reach for stuff. All you're going to want to do is eat like a handful of granola, or at least that's how I was when I told myself like I cannot snack at all. All I wanted to do was snack all day long. So just allow yourself, give yourself permission. It's okay if I snack. And then if you really want to eat a snack, freaking eat it. Like, it's fine.
Yeah.
But pay attention to how you feel with that and learn from it. So if you notice that you get bloated after your snack, or you feel sluggish, tired, having blood sugar type issues, brain fog, then learn from that lesson and note like, hey, I don't feel good from snacking. I can still snack if I want to, but maybe it's not the best idea for me.
Yeah. And I also want to tie this back to the whole social media comparison thing, because I hear this from a lot of my clients, or the women in my program will bring this up, and this is what you have to understand. So it's like, I will lay out for people how much they should be eating, and they'll say, that is a lot more than what I see on social media. And I go, okay, maybe Sally showed her breakfast and it was 1 egg and a piece of toast. That girl, Sally, probably snacked an hour later. So it's like, when you are eating 3 solid meals, like we're suggesting, your meals are going to be bigger than these other people that you see who are snacking. You know what I mean? Like,
no, yes. I know what you mean, because I sent you a picture like that. Like, I was really confused. Like, I'm seeing all these super small portions on Instagram, and I literally sent it to Christina, and I was like, this looks like food for a toddler. I was so confused. And she's like, no, she's probably eating multiple times throughout the day. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I forget that people still do that, because that's kind of like the old-fashioned dietitian model. A lot of the people that post pictures like this, not to like rag on them or anything, but a lot of people that post pictures like this are dietitians, or they've been influenced in some way like by dietitians or follow other dietitians. That's kind of just how it is. Like, you eat small portions throughout the day, and that may be like 4 to 6 meals, whatever it may be. And that may work for a lot of people. But for the majority of people with chronic digestive type issues, it probably doesn't. But I didn't even know that. And I was like, oh my God, are my portions way too big? You know, just by looking at that picture. So I can imagine how you guys or anyone else could get really confused.
Yeah. I used to eat like that. Like, you know, you get up, you have maybe an egg and a piece of toast, or you have avocado toast. And then an hour later you have a bar. And then an hour later, you have a banana. And then an hour later, you have a really light salad. And then 2 hours later, you have an apple with some nut butter. It's like you're just like snacking every few hours. And they're all very small versus like us who just has like 3 solid meals. So I know sometimes it's hard for people to wrap their heads around like looking at a meal. It's part of our culture. And I think especially as women, people feel uncomfortable with the idea of sitting down to a big bowl of food and eating it all at once. They feel like that's too much food. No. It's not. You have to remember that you need to eat enough to last you that full 4 to 6 hours. And you can't compare yourself to the girl next to you who's going to have like 3 snacks in the same time that you eat nothing.
Exactly.
Well,
so we've been trained like with portion control. We've grown up with ideas of how little we should be eating. That's like what has been ingrained in our brain is nobody talks about like eat in abundance. Everyone's like, well, how little food can I get away with and still feel okay? So you have to break out of that. You have to. And I'm not saying that it's bad, that way of eating, snacking every couple hours is bad. I don't think that's bad at all. I just think it doesn't work for a lot of people. I really don't, especially the type of people that listen to this podcast, the type of people that like come to us. I particularly don't think it works, but it's not a bad thing. You just have to remember that is just one way that we grew up, and there are multiple other ways, and you don't have to feel bad if you're like at lunch with your friends and they have a tiny little salad, but you're over here with this massive plate of protein, veggies, and avocado. Like, you do not need to feel bad for eating that much food. I know personally I'm kind of going through that right now. It's a huge shock for me because, I never left my house really, and now I have a job around normal people, and I bring like 2 meals to an 8-hour shift because I know I'm going to get hungry, and they're these big meals. Like, I bring big containers of food, and to my coworkers, that's a lot of food. They look at it and they're like, how do you eat all that? And I'm like, oh shoot, I don't even think I eat that much, but to them that's a lot. So it's also just like, what kind of people are you around as well? All of this has to do with the way that you're thinking about your portion sizes.
Yeah, and also of what you're eating. So I remember this with work. Like, I remember I would bring like a big piece of chicken or salmon. I'd bring a bag of steamed vegetables, and then like a big ass salad and an avocado, and I'd eat this. And like my coworkers would be like, you're going to eat all that food? And I'd be like, yeah. And they're like, that's so much. And I look at them and they're eating, in terms of volume, I can eat way more. I'm eating vegetables, right? So what they're eating is like the size of their palm, but they're eating like an ice cream sandwich. So obviously in terms of volume, like, people think that volume is the same thing as like caloric density, and it's literally not the same at all. When you're eating a diet that is like plant-based, as a paleo diet is, like very heavy in plants, like that's a lot of water and it's a lot of volume and not as many calories, So we eat more food volume wise. And this is why a lot of vegans get into big issues, because they don't realize how much volume they need to eat to keep up with the caloric demands of their bodies, it's like, all I can say is like, if you're feeling weird about volume, I understand, like, we've all been there, but trust me, you're okay. Like, don't feel weird about eating a lot of volume. I eat more than pretty much everyone. It's always a joke that, I eat twice as much as my dad, who's a 6'4", 200-pound bodybuilder man. So it's fine though. I can get away with it. I eat a lot of veggies, so don't be worried about volume.
No, you don't.
If you're eating a whole foods diet. If you're eating cookies and cake and ice cream sandwiches, on the other hand, then maybe you might want to worry about volume.
Even if you're on a paleo diet, and you're eating like the calorically dense treats and bars and stuff, though, like, that is kind of similar to me, to the other side of the spectrum with like the junk food or the cookie sandwich. Like, I didn't really understand the concept that, oh, this paleo brownie is like the same amount as a bag of nuts and like sugar and all this stuff because, you know, it's packaged so small and you think it's just one thing. But if you looked on the macros on that, that's like a 400 calorie, 500 calorie brownie. And even then, like, I just think that baked goods and packaged goods, man, they screw us up because they're super deceptive. Like, no matter if it's junk food or paleo food, they are straight up deceptive. All processed foods are going to be calorically more dense.
Yeah. That's why it's like paleo or not, desserts should be treats. Like those dessert foods are treats. This is why we have a problem with these people who are showing these paleo or healthy treats as their snacks. Like that is a lot. Like that should be a treat, you know?
Just because it is a bowl of paleo granola and brownies and yogurt and blah, 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 does not mean that that is a meal. Those are still processed foods filled with sugar, tons of stuff. Like
sugar is still sugar. Even if it's coconut sugar, it's still sugar.
Exactly. It's still technically a dessert. That is still technically a dessert, and it's still technically a processed type food. And paleo or not, they need to be eaten in quote unquote moderation, or you just need to watch how much you're eating. Because I mean, I've been there where for a couple weeks all I've done is eat like paleo bars and smoothies and like brownies and stuff like that, but I had no actual idea. And even like the pizza crusts, like the box mixed pizza crusts or breads, like those are still a processed food, and I actually had no idea how much food I was eating. And at the end of the day, I felt bloated, I felt tired, I gained weight, I gained water weight, like I was inflamed because even though it was paleo, it was still processed, super dense food. So portion sizes are straight up deceptive.
They are deceptive. But when you're eating a true paleo style diet, like eating as our ancestors ate, like vegetables, meats, like the quote portion control it's different. Like portions are different. Like you eat a bigger volume when you're eating vegetables. Is my point.
Yeah, it's night and day, and there's no trick. Yeah. There's no trickery involved when it comes to like your palate as well.
Yeah.
With the processed foods, paleo or not, it's still gonna taste way better than like a vegetable. So you're gonna end up eating more. Yeah, it's hyper palatable.
You know, our ancestors didn't have paleo brownies sprouting out of the ground to pick off of.
That'd be badass, though.
Yeah, that'd be really epic, but it wasn't happening. So, yeah. That's pretty much all I have to say about that. Do you have any last words?
Nope. Solid episode on snacking.
Yeah,
though.
Solid. I think we needed to, like, you know, nip this in the bud. Like, I just wanted to clear that up. So we hope you guys enjoyed this. We have more questions. Don't worry. We'll answer the rest of your questions, but we really needed to get that addressed. And if you have questions you want us to answer, please send them in to straightuppaleo.com on our contact form or submit them to straightuppaleo@gmail.com.
Yep, and you can join our Facebook group, Straight Up Paleo Pals. I know that you guys like to ask a lot of questions there because it's like super poppin' over in our Facebook group. And that's cool. You can ask questions over there. But if you want us to answer your questions, like Christina said, email it to us because that's where we're going to answer them on here. But we've got some super awesome episodes coming up. So I just want everyone to get excited because we have really cool guests coming on the show. We haven't had a guest in a minute. We've just been answering questions. So everyone get pumped. And, you know, who knows, maybe we'll ask if you guys have questions for these guests in the Facebook group. So jump on in there. And yeah, that's about it.
Yep. So thanks again for listening. We hope you enjoyed it. We love talking to you. And we will talk to you again next Thursday. Bye.